Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. Nice to see all of you here on a Saturday evening, which is really cool and rainy, and still all of you are dressed for the occasion. And it's lovely seeing a full hall and addressing you at this special juncture in your life. Thank you, BCAS. Thank you, Vice President Zubin, Chirag, Rimple, Mrinal, Gautam, all other organizers for having me here. It's always an honor to speak here. And it's a particularly distinct honor to speak today to fresh chartered accountants. And the reason is because when you talk to younger people, then you are touching the future, or that's how I look at it. Because you will go a long way, and whatever you talk to younger people, that goes a long way. So in that sense, I always feel I'm touching the future when I talk to the younger lot. And of course, as you all know, it also has a larger compounding effect, if you know what I mean. Because longer the time, longer it compounds. So with those words, welcome again. It's kind of a celebration and a kind of a, not a convocation, I guess you already had one, but it's somewhat mix of celebration as well as like a commencement what would you say? Sorry? Felicitation. Okay. So, what's the plan? I would like to share what I have learned on my journey. I would like to share some principles, values, and habits that will come probably handy for most of you. And like a farmer, and in the budget we hear this word quite a bit, like a farmer probably sprinkles some seeds that will germinate over a period of 5, 10, 20 years as you move ahead, as you move along on your journey. So, like Zubin said, your generation is particularly lucky in the sense that if you have heard of Morgan Housel, has anybody read Psychology of Money? Okay, one person. Okay, so in one of the conversations, people are talking to him, and he says how 25 years ago, the advice you would get in those times would cost about $1 million. And today, that amount of analysis, that amount of data is available for about 400 rupees data. And this is really true. Some of you may not know that years ago, it was very difficult to get any information. It was very difficult to get an annual report. It came in the post after the AGM was over. The auditors were privy to it. You know, everything took much longer. It was more difficult. It was no digital, and therefore, it made everything harder. Today, you guys are super lucky that with about 400 rupees of data, you have access to so much. So in that sense, all of you are almost gods. You can see anything, anytime, talk to anyone. You are almost omniscient. You can call people thousands of miles away. We used to have, even before fax, we used to have this big machine where we would dial and send a fax message. I don't know what it was called at that time. So, and we used to book an STD call. We used to book a car and get a car after 3, 6, 9 months. You know, those were the times. Today you walk out and you can, you know, almost buy anything. So you have tremendous tools at your hand. And coming to the Olympics, someone mentioned Olympics. And most of you, if you remember and go back, the day you started your chartered accountancy course, how did you feel? Anyone from the floor? What was in one word you would like to share the way you felt? Ambitious. Anyone else? Excited? Hopeful? Sorry? Pride. When you started. Okay. Anyone else? More people right at the back. Confident. Okay. Anyone else? Patient. Okay. Two more. Come again. Huh? Money. Okay. Fair enough. Sorry? Sacrifice. Okay. So these are some of the feelings that and everyone shared many different feelings. And it looks like, you know, when you pass the CA, you felt like you have crossed the finish line. How many of you felt like you crossed the finish line? Okay. Only 3 people felt like they crossed the finish line. That's really good. So that's exactly the point. So I can almost skip this slide, because when you have crossed the finish line, truly you will notice that this is the start line. Yes. And that's how the rest of the journey probably is going to be. When you cross one finish line and you look around and the ribbon's behind you, the line has gone behind you, and what you notice is there's another start line. So fantastic. This is a even luckier generation, because it's even wiser than what we were at our times. So today, what we'll do is look at one idea, which is understanding the difference between what is professionally qualified and what it is to be a professional. And over the years, I have felt that these two are slightly different. After meeting many, many professionals, not only in the accountancy profession, but other professions, I feel that both of these have some distinction. And we can explore briefly what's the meaning of the word professional, and what are the qualities and the attributes you can acquire, you can hone, you can cultivate, and learn as you go along. So to start with, anyone wants to share a professional they have encountered, or some attributes of a professional they have specifically observed? And you may have dealt with many people, and it doesn't have to be a chartered accountant, a lawyer in that sense, or a doctor or an architect. Any person who's a professional, you have come across any instance of a great quality that you have noticed. Or you can look at it this way, any sad qualities you may have noticed. The qualities are, like people say, unprofessional behavior. Yeah, I've heard that said a lot of time. Anyone? Either of the two. Punctuality, okay. Anyone else? People who haven't spoken. Are very patient. In the way they speak, in the way they deal with stuff. Okay, they're very patient. Anyone else from back there? Be a good listener. Okay, excellent. Having a great work ethic. What would that mean? Okay, commitment to your work, and that would mean?
Just in terms of, just not taking it for granted, being completely involved and completely caring about
completely engaged, completely involved, not taking it for granted, not being superfluous. Excellent. Anyone else? One more.
They are technically strong.
They're technically strong. Okay, one more. Somebody who hasn't spoken. Yes. They're avid readers. Excellent. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at some behaviors that all of us have seen. A taxi wala. Do you remember a look any of the rickshaw or taxi has given you? The taxi wala has given you. which he need not have. While they say no. What's that look like? Not pleasant for sure, right? Or a shopkeeper thanking you for buying something from his shop. Or a delivery boy when he delivers something. Or a guy or a guard, I have noticed, after you park, after you switch off, after you come off the car, he says, then he will get up from the chair. He will say, sir, thoda piche le lo. He's watching you. Here you have come in. There is a specific place to park. You have but he says, thoda piche le lo. After you have come out. I remember one specific instance when I was traveling in this airline. It's called ANA. And I remember an air hostess passing. And as she was passing, I wanted something. And I just looked this side. And she immediately stopped. And she felt that I was looking for something. And she said, how can I help you? And these are the sensitivities I feel in a professional. And it need not be attached to a degree. One can be doing almost anything, and yet he can be a professional. And that's one distinction between a professional degree and being a professional. Sometimes one may have the degree, but not have the professional behavior. So here are the two hallmarks that I have noticed, which is expertise. Somebody said competence, and the other is trustworthiness. And the combination of these two make you a credible professional. We'll look at it more. I'm going to share with you name of a book from where I have taken the material from here on, and it's called The Professional by Subrata Bagchi. And this is one classic book that I suppose some of you may have read. I give it to all my pass-outs when they pass out. It's written by an Indian person, so I feel that it's more to our context instead of reading some author who is a little bit outside of our context. And he gives these three attributes of a professional. The first one being integrity. This you have read in your code of ethics, in your auditing standards. Ability to work unsupervised, and certifying completion of your own work. These are the three broad classifications Subrata Bagchi gives in this book. And he has a very nice workbook along with it. If you like, you can buy both of these. And I think at this stage, they would be really handy. Let's look at one example. If you have not done some work, and yet in your office, somebody starts giving you credit. Let's say your supervisor, your boss, your manager. And you know that you don't deserve that credit. And say Mrinal, who is working with you, he is also right there, but all the credit is directed to you. What would you do? Of course, you are loving it. All the credit. Any answers? Any thoughts?
Mention that the person is...
Sorry?
That's the person who's actually done it.
That's the person who's actually done it. Anything else? Okay. First take it all and then mention that he has done it? No. Okay. Right at the beginning you want to say that, sir, it's not me. It's him who did all the good work that you are happy about. So these are kind of the examples which are very basic, which you often see that when it comes to being in the spotlight, people often forget that there are so many people who did that work. And you often see that the leaders, which you all in your own way will be in the days and months and years to come, always give credit to their team, because it's never a one-man show. I think this one quality leads to responsibility and ownership, and all the virtues probably flow out of this a quality of integrity. And Robin Sharma, whose books probably many more would have read, I assume, he's more sort of popular. He says, without integrity and honor, having everything means nothing. So I think this is an ongoing conversation, and you will continue to be faced with moments of choice when you will have to exercise this particular virtue in a real life situation. He gives several ways how integrity works, and we can look at meaning and all that, and I think you guys can figure it out. But if you have heard the word integer, one way to look at the meaning of anything is to look at its etymology. What is the root of that word? Where does the word come from? And integer, right? Remember in the school you had the word integer, and that is also the root word for integrity. It means complete number. It's whole. It's not fraction. It's not broken. And that's where the word integrity comes from. And Mr. Bagchi says that you develop it with this three mechanisms: self-awareness, authenticity, and seeking help. Another story that comes to mind is probably you may have heard of Dr. Kalam. And he was speaking, when I heard, he was speaking at some Reliance Foundation award. And he shares one story of him with his boss, Satish Dhawan. And they have just launched a rocket, something goes wrong, and the rocket blows up. It's always on live TV, right? It's like blowing up in your face, right? It's not easy to then step out and, talk to, say, 1,000 people like here, and, even explain what happened. And he says, when I went to Dr. Dhawan, who was, I think, head of ISRO or that project, he said, no, you be here, I'll go and meet the press. I'll speak before the television. So he does that. He says whatever has happened. He takes all the responsibility. After several months, they are launching the same project again. Obviously, scientists don't give up very easily. They want to again do the same thing and succeed. And that time the plan goes as planned. And so he goes to the boss and, they probably are jumping, hugging, congratulating, etc. And he was telling that, would you want to go and address the press? And Satish Dhawan says, no, now you go and you address the press. Of course, Dr. Kalam was the one deeply involved in the project. And that is how I believe the story of ownership or a story of responsibility works. So let's go to one more question. Any values that you admire the most? Anyone? Have you ever thought about this? No? Any values that you see in people around you? Yes?
There are two values that I admire the most. One being time punctuality and second being the leadership quality.
Okay. Okay, punctuality and leadership. Any other value?
Honesty and authenticity.
Honesty and authenticity. Somebody else? Kindness. Who is it? Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Gratefulness.
Gratefulness. Excellent.
Down to earth.
Down to earth. Okay. So these are some of the values that you admire. And how does one develop some of these values? And at the same time, you want to see what are the places where you are lacking in some of that. I think that takes care of this first element of integrity, which is self-awareness. The second one, he says, is being true. Somebody said authenticity. A lot of times we see a lot of fakeness, especially on social media. And that's become more prevalent, almost like a, a pandemic of sorts. And he says authenticity leads you to integrity. The other part of authenticity is, can you be objective? And this is what you have learned to look at evidence-based work. Anybody who has done audit work knows what it is to be objective. It's kind of being true and fair. We used to have the word true and fair earlier. And there's one more story, but I'm going to skip it. The third element, he says, is seeking help. And I see this very much around me, is people don't ask for help. If they are stuck with something, they don't raise their hand and say, "Sir, ye problem hai, I need help. I don't have people, I need help." Have you observed this around you? That people don't necessarily ask for help in work environment. This is the third element where he says, the ability to work unsupervised. So this becomes an important character according to Mr. Bagchi, where he says things like how you come and go. Somebody mentioned punctuality. Somebody mentioned, are you doing private stuff? A lot of people are on phone, 10%, 20% of the work hours. Whether you are surfing or working, often people want to take a much longer break, or if they don't meet a deadline, not come back. These are some of the elements of working unsupervised. If you come over all of these, then it fits this criteria. One of the key things that, or the most often that I hear, "Sir, I sent an email and that person hasn't replied." This is a very common answer that people give, and it's an element we all can overcome. Of course, we all are burdened with too much work and we run out of time. Taking charge. And this comes from a simple movement of fish. If you have seen, small fish pods moving, you will see that it's not one fish who is always in the front. When they move suddenly, 10, 20 fish are going in a certain direction. When they move, somebody else steps right in the front. When they turn, it's not the same fish who was right in the center and right at the front. When the whole pod turns, somebody else comes right at the beginning. And this is how taking charge often works, that people, whenever they are called for, they will step in the front. They will take that personal risk. They will be prepared and step forward. Being proactive is another category that he gives. Proactive individuals are always more analytical. They are more empathetic and also action-oriented. So I remember once I had interviewed one lawyer, and I asked her, what is it that you are scared of, or what is it that you are worried about? She said that I'm always worried of not being prepared. And I realized that even at that level, she was always very concerned how prepared can she be when she is meeting a client. The third one, the last one, is certifying the completion of work. And here, the professional comes right to the fore, because there's nobody else who is checking your work. Unless you are in a firm and you have quality system, and there are multiple checks before which you have signed off, and some material has come for your signing. A professional is always someone who is certifying completion of his or her own work. And they are also, it also means that they are obsessed with this 4-letter word called done. It's not the 4-letter word you thought. It's the 4-letter word called done, where things really get done when they have said that it will be done. Lastly, we come to a few points, and these are nuggets. I'll be done in 5 minutes. First is the balance sheet versus P&L approach. And I was told to share a few tips which seems to have worked in many situations. And to use your accounting jargon, I would call it balance sheet versus P&L. I remember one interview I had done where one girl who was working in Infosys, she had come from Indore and joined Infosys in Pune. And she came and she said she wanted to leave that job and join a CA firm. And I asked her why, because her salary was really good, probably 1.5 times a CA firm salary. And she said, because I'm only doing Ind AS work, and that too one Ind AS. And all throughout, I'm only doing one Ind AS work. And therefore, after about a year or so, I seem to have forgotten everything that I have learned at my articleship. And she therefore wanted to switch out, although she was earning much more money than she would if she joined a CA firm. She felt that was not what she wanted to do. And I felt that this is probably a balance sheet approach where you are creating in yourself a strong asset out of yourself, instead of only looking at the flow of money. I think right at the beginning of a career, this becomes very crucial to look at how much emphasis on P&L items and how much on balance sheet. Of course, both of them are kind of integrated. P&L flows into balance sheet. But if you have a choice, how do you make that choice? This is perhaps one way to look at it. Like somebody said, if they bought, instead of an iPhone 10, 15 years ago, instead they bought Apple shares, they would probably, buy an iPhone for their whole family today. Or, including their drivers and servants and who not. So oftentimes in spending, this becomes relevant, and I feel you can keep this in your mind. The other one is substance over form. This is again an accounting concept. We always look at economic substance over legal form. And this is everywhere, from biscuits to chai. You must have seen this guy on social media, the food farmer, young man. He's talking about how much sugar is there in food. Anybody has seen food farmer? Okay, some of you. So he's telling us what is on the label and what is actually inside. For example, this Nestea, when you look at the label, it says 2% tea. It's supposed to be tea, but how much tea does it have? 2%. And if I told you how much sugar it has, you will never have it. A cashew biscuit has how much cashew? 0.9%. So these are some of the things, as you go on in your life, you probably want to look at, substance over form before you arrive at some conclusion, before you arrive at any kind of a decision. The other, and somebody mentioned reading, is about pursuit of knowledge. Because the eyes cannot see what the mind cannot know. For example, if you took a very heavy knife before a little child, what would the child do? They may want to play with it, because the child doesn't know that the knife can hurt. Would you play with the knife and throw at each other? No. Because you know that this can harm you. In the same way, that shows that when you have knowledge about something, you are more protected, you are more safer, you are wiser. And that, I think, is an element as a professional you will carry through in the years to come. Become a learning machine. This is about Charlie Munger, who was a partner of Warren Buffett. Some of you may have heard about Warren Buffett. If you haven't, you must look up these two names, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. And he said that he was like a learning machine. And then he would continuously read every single day. That means new skills, new subjects. Just a few months ago, we had our annual day, and we were talking to Mr. 𝐾𝐫𝐫𝐸 Kamath. And he's the non-executive chairman of Jio. He was chairman of Infosys, earlier ICICI Bank, and so on. And a young person asked Mr. Kamath, you know, how would it be like going ahead? And he said, in terms of learning and relearning, he said, every 2 years, you will have to relearn what you already know. Which means for you, in the years to come, there will be constant learning that you will be faced with. So what you know today may not remain relevant and completely not relevant. So that if you had this a skill of remaining a learning machine, you will do well in the times to come. Broaden your horizon. I think this most people today have. They know much more than, I mean, their whole spectrum is so much wider than probably a few generations ago. And people know not just of their topic, but many more topics. This one you already have spoken, somebody has spoken about. And Charlie Munger said that in my whole life, I have known no wise people over a broad subject matter area who didn't read all the time. None, zero. And I think if you saw some of his videos and you read his books, you will understand what this means. And last one is to simplify, to keep things simple. It means to keep your life decluttered. I was talking to someone when they were filing their returns, and an 86-year-old person had 90 plus scripts and 45 mutual fund in his portfolio. And then you know how you file the return with every single thing and all their AIS and 26AS and whatnot. And it just shows that he hasn't put enough attention to simplify his life. And this is what all of us need, especially with digital declutter. And sometimes they say less is more. Less is more. Earlier we used to feel more and more, and today it becomes very difficult to manage too many things in your house or in your phone or wherever to kind of keep things compact. And the last one was this, your meaning of success. How would you define success for yourself? This is the last question.
To be able to help somebody out.
Help somebody out. Anyone else who hasn't spoken?
Happy.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction, okay.
Happiness.
Happiness, excellent. Anyone else? The ones who are yawning?
Self-dependence.
Self-dependence. You are Atmanirbhar. A little bit like that. Okay. Anyone else? Because this is a very important matter to look at, and probably you don't have that answer. But even if you carried this question home, that's still good enough. So I would suggest, if you got a chance, look at this TED Talk. It's by one of the best coaches of basketball in America. His name is John Wooden. And this talk is on winning and success. And he gives his definition after seeing so many sports people. What is his conclusion of what success means? So, I'll leave you with these final words that, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter how the future will shape up for you, your own approach to it, your own perspective to it, your attitude to it will determine your experience. And those who have seen that movie, what is it called? A Beautiful Life, where the father and the little son are in the German camp where people are being gassed and sent off. And he's telling his son in the whole movie that it's a game. And the son doesn't know that they are, like moments away from death. And this is from one of the guys who was in an Auschwitz camp, Viktor Frankl, and he says this is the ultimate freedom and this is the meaning, where he calls it man's search for meaning. So I feel that in the years to come, all of you will do really well. You all will have fantastic years ahead, and all your obstacles you will know how to turn to opportunities, your struggles into strength, your setbacks into stepping stones, and so on. And you'll keep your eyes on values, as somebody mentioned. You'll keep your eyes on, the most important thing. They say the most important thing is to keep the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So, with those words, I request Gautam to share his story. He has lovely stories to tell you. And please welcome Gautam, and I thank you for your listening.
So very good evening everyone. Yawning, sona vona nahi hai, aaram se ekdam. So I think I will start with where Raman bhai ended, and then I will come to some of the thanks and all. So Raman bhai says, what is successful chartered accountant? And I have seen a successful chartered accountant maybe 4 to 5 days ago. We were having a call for planning of this session, and one of the participants on the call came in the gym wear, and we were said ke ab kidhar resort pe ho ke kya kar rahe ho? So he said, I just came out from gym. I will attend this call and I'll again go back to the gym. And according to me, that's a successful chartered accountant, Mr. Raman Jokhakar, with us. So, along with all these things, I think maintaining health is also very important. And that is something, all of us have to learn over the period. Before I start my session, thank you very much, 𝐸𝐸𝐸 bhai, for inviting me, because most of the time I have given session on the technical topics of either derivatives or something like that, जहाँ पे एक material available होता है, and then you have to prepare on that material, and it's more from a head. And today I think it will be more from my heart, that I can share whatever I want to share with all the chartered accountants. And then I started thinking, 𝐸𝐸𝐸 bhai has invited me for this particular session. What should I share? Because today's generation is totally different. For all of you, I am 42 years of age, so one generation ahead of all of you. So I was just thinking कि क्या share करूँ, because the result was already on 11th of July, and already you would have discussed with many of your mentors, seniors, partners, बहुत सारी advice मिली होगी, ये करो, ये मत करो, ये सब thing. So then I said it is a good opportunity for me with what I have not done till date. So I said मैं मेरी कहानी सुना देता हूँ कि मेरे लाइफ में क्या हुआ है अब तक, what all learnings I had, how the challenges were there in my life, and what kind of learning, support, everything I had. And there may be some kind of input for you, something may be relevant, something may not be relevant. So 𝐸𝐸𝐸 bhai, that is what I have thought for today's session. BCA is a wonderful forum for all of you. Be a member. Anand bhai, who is a current president of BCA, is the dynamic president of BCA. Jubin Bhai, a person with, specific detail. I had an opportunity to be a part of one committee with Jubin Bhai. A kind of detailing he goes into of, making some kind of topic or a literature, a fantastic thing, Jubin Bhai. Convener Mrinal Bhai and Rimple, thank you very much for inviting me and other office bearers of BCAS kind of thing. So I'll start with this. So result कैसा था ये time का? हाँ? So everyone started saying कि result बहुत अच्छा आया है, ये है, वो है, and all these things. But if you ask me if there were 30 students writing exams in that classroom, you are 6 out of those 30s, right? So first, big round of applause for all of you. Just think of it, right? 30 जन बैठे हैं, and 30 में से खाली 6 जन पास हुए हैं. So it is tough kind of thing. सब बोलते हैं luck होता है. I also believe in luck, but I believe in luck for input and not for output. Whenever you go in your journey, there are so many things happens in your journey. So input में luck को always credit देना चाहिए. Then it's all about you, how you take it up, and then the output comes, which is all because of your efforts. So all of you got an opportunity to get into the CA profession is all because of your karma or your elderly's karma, because it's one of the best kind of thing to start your journey, as has been mentioned by earlier speaker. So it's a fantastic thing to start the journey. So that I would say already the karmas are there with all of us. Now usko आगे कैसे लेके जाना, it depends on how you are going to take it up and how you are going to do it. Second thing, in all the decision making, there are two aspects which are there. One is a macro kind of thing what we need to think, and other is a micro level. So there are some of the questions which came कि मैं practice करूँ, मैं job में जाऊँ, AI का क्या होगा, ये होगा. That's on a kind of a micro side. On a macro level, what is relevant for life to go ahead? थोड़ा मैं ज्ञान भी दूंगा, bear करना मेरे साथ. So what is at a macro level which is important in the life? Always we should keep in our mind that. So macro level, I think one of the answer which was given was a happiness, right? Finally, the happiness matters the most. आप job करो, आप practice करो, आप करो, नहीं करो, it's not going to make a big difference kind of thing. If you're not happy in what you are doing, उसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं है kind of thing. Second is always be positive in whatever you are doing kind of thing. See, whenever any situation comes, I had a great opportunity to meet Mr. Sandeep Bakshi, who is a current MD and CEO of ICICI Bank. And he's so humble personality. I was like, I've not seen a humble personality like him. And he's running the ICICI Bank today. And he said, whenever any situation comes, there are two ways to address that situation. Either we try to justify and we try and keep on giving reason, or we try and put it on someone else, which is very easy to do it. Or you introspect what has gone wrong in this particular situation and I find a solution. And he said, if you try doing the second one, you will always succeed in your life. Initially it may get into the difficulties, but try to see that, what has gone wrong, what I have done wrong. He said, अगर हमारे borrower अगर कोई है वो पैसा नहीं देते हैं, first I see that what is wrong in our process and systems that we could not identify the right borrower. Instead of, running behind that borrower and asking him the money, first to introspect that what is gone wrong in our process and systems kind of thing. So I think these are the macro level thing that believe in karma, find happiness, जो आपको happy रखता है उसमें करो. And third is always be positive. I have experienced in my life, if you see the things with positivity, it always works kind of thing. So with this, I will just start my presentation. So as I said, I will briefly touch upon my life story, starting from articleship till today. So thoda 10 minute usko bear karna. Then I think very important thing which all of you should know, and it has been mentioned by Jubin Bhai and Raman Bhai, that you guys are very lucky that at this stage you are getting a degree of chartered accountancy, and at this stage you are getting into kind of studying to the profession or getting into the business or getting into the kind of real world. And this is the best time for India kind of thing. And for that I will give you few kind of indicators why this is the best time for India. And there is a huge opportunity for all of you. It all depends on you. How are you going to grab all those opportunities kind of thing. And within those, you can capture that there are different industries, there are different milestones which India is achieving. And there are a lot of opportunities which are going to come for all of you in this. And third, we'll have some key sharing, which I thought, which may be relevant for you to doing a further decision-making kind of thing. So my journey started with articleship, like आप सबका भी journey articleship से शुरू हुआ रहेगा. So I started doing, it was easy for me, KKC kind of some relationship, and I went with my father. So VT station say 5 minutes was a KKC office, and I was not knowing how to come to VT station and how to come to KKC office. And my father came along with me, KKC, admission ho gaya. I was there for 1 week, and after coming back to home, after 1 week, I said, मुझे यहाँ पे articleship नहीं करना है, because सब books आजू बाजू पड़े हैं, लोग इतना सब काम कर रहे हैं, and I said, this is not something which I want to do, and it is very difficult for me, kind of thing. And my karma, I met one of my brother's friend. He was doing articleship from one of the small firm in Mulund, and he clearly told me, if you want to do CA, do from some of the good firm, articleship from some of the large firm or a mid-sized firm. Please don't do it from a smaller firm, because this is a time where you will be investing your time. You can do mistakes, you can ask silly questions, you can meet different people, you can do different learnings kind of thing. Saying that, I'm not saying that articleship from the small firm is not good. There are a lot of learnings for him, but I'm saying what worked for me. And he told me, तू CA छोड़ दे, अगर ऐसे ही तेरे comfort zone में रहना है और काम नहीं करना है. But if you really want to achieve something, please go there and do the articleship. That is one of the firm which going to give you a good learning kind of thing. So again, that karma, I don't know what was there, and suddenly he met me. It was not the kind of thing we were to meet, but that changed the decision. And today also, whenever I meet him, I thank him like anything, that you really helped me and you changed my life kind of thing. Agar wo nahi mila hota, I would have done something and I would have been a different person today kind of thing. And after joining KKC at that point in time, it was a different KKC firm. There are some articles I can see from KKC also here. But at that time, things were different, but fantastic learning. And I would say again, one of the key things you should always consider is the people with whom you are going to work. And that is going to matter the most. So आज भी अगर आपको interview देने जा रहे हो, or you are finding some position, there is a lot of information available about the person with whom you are going to work. It may be kind of specific person you get or you may not get, but do some diligence. It is very important that with whom you are going to work, what is the kind of a person, the expertise that person is carrying kind of thing, because that knowledge sharing is going to happen. And that is something which happened with me in KKC during that time. The kind of approach which was there, the kind of learning which was there, the culture, the values. And one of the things that, always have a solution-driven approach kind of thing. Again, what happens, वो बोले आप गलती करोगे चलोगे, don't come only with question कि ये question अब मैं क्या करूँ kind of thing. So that is something was taught to us at that point in time, that सच या झूठ, do your research, do your study and come with a solution to us. Then we'll discuss and deliberate on all those things. So those were very, very small aspects, but that really helped me in learning all those aspects, seeing things in a different way. एक जो fear था पहले कि घर से बाहर नहीं निकल सकेंगे, ये नहीं कर सकेंगे, वो नहीं कर सकेंगे, all those things gone away during the articleship kind of thing. So that really helped me at that stage of my career. Then, like all of you, CA exams आ गए. Inter I cleared in first attempt, and one of the senior in the articleship said कि हवा में मत उड़ना, Inter pass हो गए, final pass नहीं हो गए. So we were 4 of us who cleared Inter in first attempt, and we were on the lunch table. And he said कि अभी इंटर हो गए तो आप लोग को सबको ऐसा लगेगा आपको तो सब कुछ आता है and आप सब अचीव कर लोगे, but finally is totally different than the inter. And exactly whatever he said, it happened. And I flunked in my CA final first attempt with 1 E. So that time I don't know, exemption में E आता था, अभी आता है कि नहीं. So I got 1 exemption in the law paper, and all other papers totally off. And then I decided that day, result day, I still remember. Evening, my friends or my colleagues were together with me. बोले चलो movie देखने जाते हैं. Movie देखने लेके गए. So again, the kind of takeaway is the friends are very important in life. So have friends always with you. And then I decided अभी कुछ भी हो जाए, CA पास करना है. I went into the small room. सामने दरवाजे पे result, next result का date लिख दिया. मैं बोला ये दिन पे अभी रोना नहीं है. And whatever happens, I want to achieve the success in the next exam. I cleared my exam with very good marks. Again, went into the campus interview, or campus mein, during our time, there were a lot of public sector companies used to come for interviews, and there are various companies were coming for the interview. So I still remember one incident, BPCL ka interview tha, I was giving the interview and that person says, this something written in your CV is incorrect. I said, what is incorrect, sir? So that time I wrote that, marks equivalent to 6th rank. And he said, what you have written is a crime, you should not be writing it. I said, sir, but it is a fact. He said, do you understand the value of rank? I said, no, sir, but my marks are equivalent to 6th rank. But he said, you have not got the rank. So you can't write that marks equivalent to 6th rank. And I realized that that was a mistake which I did, kind of thing, because I had an exemption, so I can't write that as a rank. But again, I would say, it's my karma that person could realize it and I could not get job in BPCL. Otherwise, today I was been with some of the public sector company and, doing something. But again, I believe that, that was a fortune or a karma that then I had to search some other job. And the story started with, how to select the first job. Same, आज जब जहाँ पे आप लोग सब खड़े हो, I was standing at that particular stage. The first opportunity, KKC, they said, continue KKC, क्या है? There is nothing, everything is fine, सब कुछ अपना ही है, होगा. The second opportunity I got was from TCS at that point in time. And third opportunity was one of the big 4 firm, kind of thing. I would say the decision-making process, what I have done was completely wrong at that point in time, because what I have seen at that point in time was Big 4 was giving 5,000 more than TCS, and TCS was giving 5,000 more than KKC. So मैं बोला जो ज़्यादा दे रहा है उधर ही जाना है अभी, kind of thing. But I can tell you that was a mistake. Please, please, please don't consider the remuneration as a benchmark for your job selection, kind of thing. Don't look at those short-term things. Decide what you want to do ahead in your life. आज 2 लाख, 5 लाख, 10 लाख कोई matter नहीं करने वाला है. Once you will see your life after 10 years, all these things are not going to matter at all, kind of thing. So that time हम लोग को पता नहीं था, and I just went in the flow, and I joined that big 4 firm at that point in time. Second decision making, which I always discuss with all the our team members who come and discuss with us, is whenever you do a job selection or a next phase selection, there are 2 macro aspects which you should consider. Each and every job what you do has 2 aspects. One is a revenue generating job, another is a cost job, kind of thing, right? So whenever you are in a consulting firm or any CA firm, or you do your practicing, whatever work you do will generate a revenue. That will be very, very challenging. That will be very, very exciting. Every day new challenges will come. Every day it will be a long working hours, hard working, everything hoga. But that's totally a different game altogether. You will be always be relevant, and the sky will be a limit for you on that point in time, because you are into the revenue generation of a particular organization. You will always be relevant in that, and your learning curve will always go up in that thing. And the second job जो होता है, sometimes we join some industry, some company in the finance function or something like that. Maybe, they may pay you some X amount more than what initially you get in this job, kind of thing. Saying that, I am not saying this is bad or this is good or something like that. But that clarity should be there in your mind कि मुझे revenue generation में रहना है, or I want to have a comfort-based zone where I will join one industry, one company, and I will be in the accounts function, I will be doing accounting and all. Initially challenge honge, but I think after 6 months, 9 months, the things will stabilize in that point in time, kind of thing. So I think always have this particular factor when you are doing the selection of your job, because I have seen so many questions ke job mein jana hai, practice karna hai. All these things should not be a question. First is, where do you want to go ahead and what do you want to do ahead in your life, kind of thing. So I think that time again, instead of TCS, when I joined EY, it automatically happened for me, because I was on the revenue generation side for that organization. So again, for me it happened automatically, but that is something I realized कि वो अलग ही चीज़ होती है altogether. उसका excitement पूरा अलग ही होता है when you are in the revenue generation side, kind of thing. EY again, I had a fantastic learnings, how to look at the large organizations, how to build up the process, how to have a systems. It was more from a people-driven to a process-driven organization altogether, kind of thing. And everything happens based on the process. Everything happens with one defined way, kind of things. So there was a lot of learnings. Every year promotion mil raha hai, अच्छे पैसे मिल रहे हैं, fancy offices, parties, everything was going good, kind of thing. But at a point in time, I realized this is something which I don't want to do, and this is not something which I want to see ahead in my life, kind of thing. Because यहाँ पे रहेंगे तो ये आगे करते रहेंगे, and you will be like one of 1 lakh employees, and you will go ahead in the ladder kind of thing. So again, I'm saying there are different. When you join a large organization, you become a small part of that organization, and when you join a small organization, you become a kind of main part of that particular organization. Again, that will be a very, very relevant for you to make a decision making कि मुझे क्या करना है kind of thing. So after a particular point in time, there were a lot of learnings. I made good friends and a different kind of thing. I could see the things in a different way. I could analyze the things in a different way, and that really helped me during that tenure. But at a point in time, I had to take that risk kind of thing. So आपके life में भी ये होगा. It may happen that you may have your first job joining. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि continue होगा kind of thing. So today, we are discussing, we are giving you the inputs and all these things. Finally, it is your journey, your life. Things are going to change kind of thing. But take risk. If you believe something is not connecting me, सुबह उठने के बाद लग रहा है कि आज ऑफिस नहीं जाना है, और अगर वैसा 3 महीने तक हो रहा है, think time आ गया अभी decision लेने का kind of thing. I waited for 6 months. For me, it was happening for 6 months. But after 6 months, I decided that this is not something what I want to do, and I want to change. And that time, it was a big risk. But I had a conviction, something, kuch na kuch kar lenge kind of thing. And then, I again discussed and I said, okay, let's take a U-turn and see what is there for me in the KKC. And I again joined back KKC in 2010 kind of thing. And that time I got an opportunity to join as a partner. Again, it was a different KKC at that point in time, what we are seeing today. But again, the support of senior partners, the way they gave a responsibility, the way they have shown faith, the way they have given the kind of open ground to me, we could do a lot of things. And initially it was very, very challenging because things were happening in a particular way for last many years. Initially there were a lot of resistance coming from some of the partners and all. But we said if we have to go to the next level, we need to bring in process, systems, do the things in a different way. But again, things cannot change overnight. So if you join any organization and if you feel things are not happening in a right way, don't get into the reactive mode kind of thing. You have to give a time, you have to see that what is the solution to this particular thing, design the solution and then start implementing the solution. And once people start seeing the benefit of that solution, they will have an acceptability of it. But immediately आप जाके बोलोगे ये ऐसे नहीं ऐसे करना है, nobody is going to accept that particular solution kind of thing. So over the period, we realized the importance of the different aspect that in any CA firm, so many of you may want to start your own practice, it is not only the client which are important. I'm saying clients are important, but I'm not saying it is not only the clients are important. The client servicing is very important. But sometimes what happens, we just look at that aspect and we forget what are the other aspects which are needed for the growth of the organization kind of thing. And there are a lot of things which are needed to build up the process, build up the systems within the organization, bringing in the particular culture in the organization, building the different kind of value proposition in the organization. And the most important thing in your journey is people. You always have to build up your team, and that is the only mantra for the success. May not be today, but as you move ahead in your ladder, don't have a fear कि अगर मैं ये काम छोड़ दूंगा और मैं मेरे team member को दे दूंगा, what am I going to do kind of thing. So don't have that fear. And if you have a team members who are more expert and who have a more kind of smartness than you, then only you can move up in the ladder kind of thing. So life में fear कभी भी मत रखना कि मैं ये कुछ delegate कर दूंगा तो मेरा क्या होगा, something like that. There are a lot of opportunities which are available to you, and you need to build your team kind of thing. And once you build up your team, then only the success will come to you. So this is something which I have learned in my journey of KKC. The team is very important. We have to build up our team. Process is very important, and in today's generation, the technology is again a very, very important for all of us. The CA with the different knowledge of technology is going to have a grand success in today's time kind of thing, because technology is going to change many things. The way we were doing earlier, things are going to change in a different way kind of thing. So that's a brief about my journey and what all I have learned till date. Now I'll give you something about the growth story of India, and I'm telling you, you guys are at the best time where the growth in India is going to start. When we are meeting a lot of our large clients, we are discussing with their treasury team. He said a lot of funds which are just waiting, and they are going to come in the India kind of thing, because globally the opportunities are now there only in India. The returns which everyone is seeing in the return in India is not there in any of the countries kind of thing. And you guys are at this stage, and you guys are going to get the benefit of those things if you see things in a right direction and if you see things in a positive way, kind of thing. So this is just, we have already discussed what learnings I had, team we have discussed, client dealing, the solution-driven approach, develop a niche expertise in the knowledge, kind of thing. So, it always helps when you create some niche expertise in one technical subject or any difficult subject, kind of thing, and that gives you a value in the organization. Suppose you are joining a particular organization, analyze that organization, what is happening, see that what are the critical things in that organization, and start creating your own expertise. It will really give you the value in that particular organization, kind of thing. Process we have discussed, technology we have discussed, technical skills vis-a-vis other skills, kind of. This is again a very, very important thing that, as you will move up in the ladder, the importance of the technical skills, when I'm saying, will keep on going down, and your importance of other skills is going to go up, kind of thing. How are you interacting with people? How are you giving a solutions to your client? How are you doing the kind of your own identity in the social structure, kind of thing? So all those things are also very, very important along with the technical skills. When I'm saying this, it's not that we need to be technically relevant. We need to be updated because things are changing faster. But along with that, these other skills are also very, very important if you want to move up in the ladder. Because if you only stick with the technical skills, certainly at a particular stage, your growth will get restricted, kind of thing. So that's again a very, very important thing, that along with technical skills, other skills also you need to enhance. Take decisions, which we have seen, meet people, we have already discussed. Now this is on the India growth story. I'll not go into each and every number, but we know that, how the growth is happening in India, the pace at which the growth is happening in India. So it took 58 years to reach to $1 trillion economy in 2008. And from 2008, we are seeing that by 2030, the economy will be the $6 trillion. So it's going to go at a very, very rapid pace, kind of thing. Each and every industry. So now you guys must be thinking that kaun se industry mein mujhe job lena hai, whether it is a financial services, healthcare. There are different industries which are there, and each and every industry is going to grow at a rapid pace. Financial services, where the banking access was there to 35% in 2014, which is going to reach at 90% to 2034, kind of thing. Again, digital connectivity we have seen, the retail sector, which the way it is going to get organized. So a lot of changes which are going to happen in this country, and things are going to happen more structured. And earlier the things were unorganized. Now the things are going to happen in a more organized way, kind of thing. Demographic advantage, all of you, the young generation, the demographic advantage to India is a very, very strong advantage which we have compared to other countries, kind of thing. And again, this is going to play a very, very key role in the growth of our country. Innovative India, we are seeing that different innovations which are happening. Earlier, we were having that kind of investment which is not happening in innovation. The investments are not happening in defense sector, investments are not happening in other relevant sector. But now again, in all those sectors, the investments are happening and the opportunities are going to come in this particular sectors, kind of thing. Digital India, all of us know, when you go out of India and when you see India, the way the digital payment, the system what we have, we are not seeing those systems are there in out of India, kind of thing. Again, this digital thing is going to be very, very relevant, and it is going to be kind of a game changer for our country, kind of thing. A scorecard, again, how we have moved from 2014 to 2022, GDP we have discussed. Global trade, the Indian currency acceptance has started, kind of thing. Again, that is going to be a game changer. Currently, there is a lot of dependency which is there on US dollar. And now the India currency acceptability has started in some of the trades with Russia, some of the trade with the Middle East and all. And if currency is going to get strengthened, the economy is going to get strengthened in India. And again, that's again an opportunity for all of you here, kind of thing. And a lot of things like FDI inflow is going to increase. The BRICS weightage, which is there in India, has improved. Climate change is again impacting, which is having an improvement in India. And again, from here to going to the next 10 years, we are seeing all the indicators are going to go on a positive way, and that are going to create a good opportunity for all of us in this. Some of the quotes, if says, if I have to bet on one country in Asia, it's in India, and I had to bet 2 times on a country, it would be India twice, kind of thing. This has been given by the former CEO of Cisco. And it says it is not just India's decade, it's India's century. Again, it's from a McKinsey kind of thing. So, what time ये होता है कि इंडिया में रहना है, बाहर जाना है, क्या करना है, whether there is anything in India. trust me, this is the time to be in India. There are a lot of people who are there out of India and they are coming back to India because this is the time where the growth is going to happen in India kind of thing. Saying that, I am not saying that you should not go out of India. You should certainly go for, taking some learnings, taking some courses. There are a lot of courses, lot of learning which is available. If you guys want to pursue, you should try and, go for kind of learning and sharpening your skills. But I think Vapis Aake, the India is something which is a growth story which I truly believe, and I am very confident on the growth which is going to have in our country kind of thing. So based on that, some of the key sharings kind of thing. So what do you believe after you have completed your CA? What is the next things you should be doing kind of thing? Anyone? Or what are the options which are available to you guys? If you ask me personally, if there are no other compulsions, do further studies. So investment, what you will do for next 2 to 3 years in study and the returns what you are going to get in that, no company, no industry, no practice will give you that returns kind of thing. See, because in CA you have learned some of the technical aspects, and now what is the next things which you should be doing kind of thing. And whenever I discuss with some of the colleagues, who have already from our firm, and they have done, say, MBA from IIM or ISB or some kind of thing, and we start discussing that what is the difference, आपने CA किया और उसके बाद MBA किया, what is the difference? So he said, sir, technically कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं सीखा है, technically जो CA ने सीखा है वही सीखा है, but he said the network what we have made, वहाँ पे engineers आते हैं, different people आते हैं, the network what I have made now, it's totally different network. He said, sir, when you discuss with other CAs, you guys discuss about stock market, and we guys are now discussing about startups. So that's a totally a different game altogether and the different discussion altogether kind of thing. So जो एक thought process ये level पे होता है, if you invest your time for next 2 to 3 years in doing masters, MBA and all, your thinking will start from here. And यहाँ से यहाँ पे जाने के लिए 10 साल लगेंगे, and where you will directly enter where you will be after 10 years kind of thing. So please evaluate that option. Please assess that option. If you guys do not have any other compulsion, please try and assess that option. According to me, that's the best investment you guys will be doing. And personally, if you ask me, you should try doing some masters, MBA in any of the field, because CA has given you the technical expertise. This masters will give you the expertise, how to demonstrate that knowledge and go further in the life. You will be directly at the kind of management level and the decision making level, जहाँ पे पहुँचने के लिए यहाँ से time लग जाएगा kind of thing. So evaluate that option, assess that option kind of thing, and then take the decision. Don't rush in taking the decision making. कोई time भाग नहीं जाएगा. कोई अगर कैंपस में आपको लेटर नहीं दे रहा है, don't worry about it. कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. Trust me, nothing is going to happen. So कोई भी decision fear में मत लेना कि ये नहीं करूँगा तो वो हो जाएगा, वो नहीं करूँगा. Don't worry about it, kind of thing. You will be able to kind of get the best whatever you want. Give time to that kind of thing. So that is something which I said, have your plan kind of thing. Short term versus long term. Sometimes what happens, I have seen some of our colleagues, they start joining BPO because of 15 lakh ka salary de raha hai kind of thing. Don't get into all those traps kind of thing. Those are all short term thinking. Think that what you want to do from next 5 years, 10 years, how do you want to build your career, and then take your decision at this stage kind of thing. And that is really going to help you that, you are building up your career ahead, and उसमें अभी आप time invest कर रहे हो. Someone tells you कि आप free में काम करो, I'll tell you, you do that also if it is in alignment of your career path ahead kind of thing. Because all these numbers are not going to matter, trust me. The thing which is going to matter is how are you going to invest your time the next 3 to 5 years. That is going to be a decision maker for your life ahead kind of thing. Revenue versus cost, which we have already discussed. Technology I have already discussed. It is a game changer. How many of you have used ChatGPT for making your CV? बहुत कम है. I am telling you, it is the game changer. Start seeing ChatGPT, and there are so many tools which are available. We were doing one of the audit, and one of our article trainees said, मैंने तो ChatGPT को पूछ लिया how to audit investments, and ChatGPT gave me the answer kind of thing, how to do it. Yeah. So I think explore the technology. It is a game changer kind of thing. हमारे टाइम पे अलग था, nobody was there to guide us and we were just flowing in the flow, but you guys have so much of the data, technology, knowledge, everything is available with you guys kind of thing. So don't rush, evaluate all those options and then take the decisions. Social media, LinkedIn, कितने लोग हैं LinkedIn पे? Again, I would expect more. It should be 100% you guys should be there on the LinkedIn. Start following, few of them who are there on the LinkedIn kind of thing. All these are the platform you need to start creating all your individual identity also on all those platforms. Instagram अभी बोलूँगा तो सबके हाथ ऊपर हो जाएंगे, हाँ? चलिए. Networking again very important. You need to build relationship. You need to create your own expertise. You need to give solutions. अगर आप solution दोगे ना तो ही वो person आपकी value करेगा kind of thing. See, everything has a problem, but you need to see that what is a way I can give a solution to our clients, what is a way I can give solution to my team members, what is a way I can give solution to all of you. So if you will keep a solution driven approach, always people will value you for that and always you will get benefit out of this kind of thing. And it says the recall value एक होना चाहिए कि okay, if this is a problem, I should call this guy and he will give me a solution kind of thing. So you should create your recall value in one of the specific expertised kind of thing, and that will again really help you ahead. Team I have discussed, and I am a firm believer of a team. Without team, nothing is possible kind of thing. So team is very important. Be confident. आप लोगों ने CA किया है, so be very, very confident. Don't be nervous in anything kind of thing. I am telling you, you guys can achieve anything and everything what you want kind of thing. So always be confident, take risk. When I am saying risk, not FNO, not lottery and all. Please be away, remain away from all these things, till the time you reach to a particular level, because otherwise you guys are going to have a tough time. Because that is something what I'm seeing in this generation, that, gaming, FNO, this, that. कुछ नहीं होने वाला है वो सबसे, I'm telling you, kind of thing. So please be away from all these things. When I'm saying risk, in your career you start taking that particular risk kind of thing. Dream big. Lot of opportunities. See, आज से 20-25 साल पहले we were saying it is a Birla, it is a Ambani kind of thing. But today you guys can think of a startup and you can be a unicorn kind of thing. So I think there are a lot of opportunities which are available and you guys should think about it kind of thing. Do your karma. So I am a firm believer that, but karma in input, output को लक पे मत छोड़ना. Input में there are every time if you follow, if you believe, positive things are going to happen and output is going to be a kind of great for you. Be a good human being. That is very, very important. And giving back to society. I think what Zubin Bhai started, please believe in giving back to society. I think the pleasure what you will get in that, I don't think anything else can give that particular pleasure. Kind of whatever in a small way, either you contribute or do something like that. So, and finally, you are 6 out of those 30. Please remember. So big round of applause for all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the silence. I know you guys are waiting for the moment and we have some questions to be discussed. We had generated certain questions from the Google form. We have summarized few. We can, due to paucity of time, we'll take a few questions which have come online and maybe a few questions from the audience as well before we move on to the felicitation program. So I would take up 2 or 3 questions which are pretty common and a lot of participants have raised those. So the first question which I would like to put to Raman Bhai is practice still relevant or?
So my honest answer is, if you look at the past, lot of things which were exclusive to a chartered accountant degree has gotten out. For example, earlier you saw that only chartered accountants did, say, tax work. Today lawyers are doing tax work. Chartered accountants did certain regulatory filing. Today you have, if you watch YouTube, there are all new ads telling you to file some tax return on this buddy and that buddy. So other than attest work, which is, I call it UDIN work, all the rest has gotten out of the practice exclusivity domain. And if you look at the largest businesses, what do they have? They have huge market share and others cannot come in, right? Say in the paints market, you had one player, now you have 2-3 others who have come in. But at that point in time, there was massive entry barrier in terms of money in setting up plant, etc. Today, those kind of things have gotten out. So probably practice has this aspect that one must look, and I'll let Gautam also answer this, that lot of it has gotten out. Exclusivity has diminished. As a business, you can do everything except you didn't work. And therefore, that domain has shrunk. At the same time, you have massive amount of skill. For example, the way you have learned all these subjects over 2-3 years, that skill is absolutely priceless. Meaning, as a CA, you can do almost anything. Almost anything. You can get into any sector and figure out how to get certain things done, because that's how the course has made you. So, to answer the question, it's not a very clear answer. At the same time, I feel that practice will not come to an end. The practice has still a huge amount of scope because of your personal level of service, which often, I don't know whether you can do an internet thing and, you know, do some kind of advisory work. You have very big breadth of perspective, and you have a very deep depth through which you can go through, meaning the way you can look at things from the skills you have or the experience you will get in the times to come. To my mind, that is priceless. So I feel it's your choice. I would give the answer in 2 words, up to you.
Thank you, Raman bhai. Taking it forward from here, would like to
Gautam to say anything.
Gautam bhai would like to add on this. In fact, I would like you to take up along with this question. In case someone wants to go for a practice, what are the emerging areas of practice you see apart from the traditional practice? To name it, maybe ESG practice or cyber security.
You want me to? Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I think first answer to the first question, practice versus job. What Raman bhai mentioned, yeah, it's very subjective. There is no one right or wrong answer to it, kind of thing. But again, if you want to go for a practice, certainly it will need some time initially. You have to invest some time for maybe say 2 to 5 years. But once you invest your time and build up your practice, certainly there are a lot of benefits. One key benefit is the freedom which is available to you as compared to what there will be in the job. The respect what you will be earning when you will be doing a practice, kind of thing. So there are pros and cons on both the sides. I agree with Raman bhai, it's all up to you that, you know, in which journey kind of you want to go ahead, kind of thing. So certainly there are benefits and otherwise for both the sides. Some of the key thing, if you ask me, on the technology side, there are a lot of opportunities which are going to come. So you should look at the practice building upon the technology side. ESG is something, again, an evolving area where some of the practice development is happening. So that is again emerging thing. Same thing, the traditional way practice is also going to continue, kind of thing. But if you built up your expertise on a particular area, say it is a GST, and if you built up your expertise, you create your name in the GST practice, automatically the clients are going to come to you, kind of thing. So it's all depends on कि आपको कहाँ जाना है, and according to that you need to play your cards, kind of thing. So I think everything is very subjective, and finally if you are focused and if you have a clear roadmap, I think you can achieve the success in that.
Yes, Raman bhai.
One thing, probably the question to ask is, where can I add value? Where can I add value? We had one conversation at BCS, and one promoter was sitting there, and the question was asked to that promoter that you must be getting huge amount of offers, and this is, you know, more than $10 billion promoter stake. So, you know, how do you look at it? I mean, that offer is, you can't say no to that. Just that family, So he said that, so long as we feel that we are adding value, we will continue to own the business. The moment when we feel that we are no longer able to add value, we'll sell off our stake and walk out. I think the question is this: where can I add value? It's not whether a practice or this, but where will I shine the best? Where will I give my service the best? Where will I feel happy in doing that particular task? I think that's the question.
Thank you, Raman bhai. One question which would be most relevant at this point. Most of you either are appearing for your interviews or are preparing or approaching companies. So I would like to ask both the speakers, one skill which you would suggest or one skill which you look forward to while interviewing candidates. One important skill which impresses you the most, which the audience or the students can highlight within themselves.
Is very, very important. And about, confidence and hunger to get that particular role or the opportunity kind of thing. So if you have a hunger to, do something, in my view, the technical skills over the period, gets developed. But that hunger is very important. So I see that whether that candidate is having the hunger to, take that opportunity, how confident that particular candidate and how kind of truthful he is about whatever has been mentioned in his resume or CV.
Warren Buffett, again, Warren Buffett, I mean the FNO people may not know him. He's a value investor, and they asked him the same question: what are the qualities you look at when you interview people? And he said, I look at three things. First one is competence, second is energy, and third is integrity. And if the last one is not there, I don't even worry about the first two. Should I repeat? I look at three things: competence, energy, and integrity. If the last one is missing, integrity, then I don't even worry about the first two. So there is this huge balance. He did mention about it. And the second one is this passion to get something done. That is very, very critical, that when you tell that person and when that person says it will be done, the four-letter word done, it will be done in the manner it is required to be done. Like one of my mentors told me when I was much younger, half my age, and she said that when I do something, I give my life to it. And I still remember, it's probably 25 years ago. And if every action, and it comes across that person, when you meet people, you will know whether they are there or they are, 30% there. They are 40% there. They're a little bit, confident, shy, whatever. Because it's not about you, it's about that work. Once I'm focused on that work, I'm not there in the middle. I just step aside and the whole focus is on that work. I think those are some things probably may help you to think about.
Thank you, Raman bhai. We also have 𝐶𝐴 as a chairman to our seminar committee, and he has been one of the speakers in our earlier Felicitation session. And I can't miss this opportunity of asking and inviting Chirag to share his take on or advice for the chartered accountants.
No, I think I'll just continue on the same thing. One of the important element when I interview or I approach a client, both sides, is what I look at research. The person who has come to appear interview in my entity, how much has he researched about us? If he has researched something and he can share in that interview, that's the guy I look for or the girl I look for. Because then it is very easy. When I also approach my client, if you are in practice, research everything about the client, the managing team, the board of directors, the person who heads there, and then go and approach your client. And if you can add certain things which he feels that you have researched about him, that's where you click and you stay in their mind. So when people come for interview, yes, apart from these qualities, one thing I look in my interview is how much have you researched about me or my company. And if you've done that, then I go for hiring quickly. So that's one important element, I think, because social media is available now. Everything is on Google, on LinkedIn, people put. So you can read about them and go before your interviews. That will help you, or your client pitchings. So that is one thing I wanted to add.
Thank you, Chirag bhai. We can take a few questions from the audience. So you can raise your hand and we'll pass on the mic to you. And we'll be a bit of brief in very specific questions. And you can name the speaker whom you would like to raise the question to.
Sir, you mentioned that integrity is something which is important. But how do you identify whether the candidate has integrity or not during that 15 minutes of interview? Because honestly speaking, I am not able to understand how do I identify whether that particular candidate is having integrity or not.
See, I tell you, when we interview, how do we identify the truthfulness or the integrity, which is one of the important. We raise the bar of our questions. Okay, and when you start telling something which you don't even know, and we know that you can't answer that at that level. And that's where we come to know whether you are correct truth or not. So it matters a lot. My first interview of my life was PricewaterhouseCoopers in 2003 back, and when I went for interview, they put you in the room, like lounge kind. Now lounge, earlier were rooms, and I spoke to others. Some were rankers, one or two were professors who wanted to join, and I was neither a ranker nor a professor. So I felt that maybe they will definitely catch the train and I'll miss the train. But when I went for interviews, he started asking something which was not even in our curriculum. So I started saying I don't know, like rightly mentioned by Raman and Gautam. And then after that, in the end, I got selected. So after I joined PwC, I went to that manager or the director, and I asked him that half of the questions I said I don't know, and you hired me where there were rankers and all. So he explained me that they started telling me something which I know they don't know. So kept answering something, bluffing or whatever, and you just kept and said that I don't know, I will learn if it is required by the job or by my profile, and that's where I hired you, and I think you will learn and do better. So this is how he identified me, and this is how an interviewer at that level identifies. When he raises the bar, understand somewhere he is reaching where you can't answer, and that's the time you drop it. And that's how he analyzes in that 5 minutes that your integrity, truthfulness is there towards it or not.
Thank you, sir.
We can take just one question if someone would like to raise any question.
Very good evening, sir. So my question is, if tomorrow I want to start my own investment venture, or if tomorrow I want to start my own practice, how should I pitch clients? First thing, how should I pitch clients? What are the things I should keep in mind while pitching clients? Or what are the things? Is the concept of getting high ticket clients or low ticket clients important in the start of my practice or in the start of my venture?
So I think I would say first what Chirag bhai mentioned is you need to do a research about your clients to whom you are going to meet, kind of thing. Again, I would say it's not about a high ticket or a low ticket client, but you need to first see that where is your expertise is lying, kind of thing. So it should not happen that you are going to meet your client, but you don't know for what objective you are going to meet your client, and what is the kind of things what you want to give to that particular client. Like, say there are different clients will have a different expectation, kind of thing. Suppose you are going to meet a client A, but he is not having a need for those kind of services, that discussion will be irrelevant, kind of thing. So you need to do a study about what that client is doing, what that client will need, kind of the services which he will need, and then you should be doing your pitching, kind of thing. So I would say the size of client may not be so relevant, but it all depends on what kind of services you are giving. So there may be a large client, but still there is an opportunity available to you if you have that particular expertise lying with you. So I would say that do a proper research about that client and have that relevant experience or an expertise when you are meeting that particular client, kind of thing.
Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank BCS for giving me an opportunity to speak here. And the journey was definitely really difficult. As you all know, you have qualified the exams also. But one thing I would like to say is the patience which we require for clearing this exam is what makes us special and different from the others. So that's it.